What's up, guys? This is Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm here today at Brandon Nissan. Rick has given us this brand new 2021 Nissan Rogue. This is the SV. MSRP starts at $27,340. The model we're showing today is at $31,060 in your pearl white tri-coat exterior. This is a full redesign from the ground up. 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, 181 horsepower with 181 pound-feet of torque, getting you around 27 to 35 miles per gallon. Matted to a CVT transmission with your Xtronic, this is going to have a more attractive styling on the exterior, a modern look on the interior. Improvements on the performance with that handsome truck look and a boxier style. We're going to go over all the specs and details, starting now. You think it, Rogue does it. Nissan says it has a multi-face in the front, and you can see that if you're comparing it to the 2020, which I parked next to it purposely. Because this is the SV, you're going to get all the bells and whistles, so everything LED in the front, even your turn indicators and your fog lamps. The hood structure, I think, looks very nice, more polished and a modern look to it. The new V-Motion grille, it's a little bit more wider and opened up. They've added a little bit more chrome specs, but they have deleted the chrome on the bottom fascia of the bumper. They kept the horizontal line, so it keeps that heritage of Rogue. And this is a matte black, which looks pretty settled for it. I like the polish black that's in between the Motion grille. If you are comparing it to this side, you could also see now it has a boomerang look on the side. And this is an actual functional vent that goes over and channels through your tires. The width of this vehicle is at 72.4 inches, the height of 66.5. Nissan Intelligent Key with all four doors, which means you can unlock and lock the doors from the front and from the rear. The window trims, I think they did a pretty settled look. Still chrome accents, they still put the black on the bottom, so it gives a luxury slash sport feel. Adding some black in the front and on the rear. The lights, how they integrate and kind of keep going on the side, so it really looks nice. You got the little V-Motion here that invokes the motion, and that's what Nissan's signature is, set with 18-inch alloy wheels. I like the proportions also on the doors because this skirt here kind of flares out the fenders a little bit, so if you're looking at it on the door perspective, it looks really sporty. If you look at it just as a side profile, you'll see it has a modern look, so it actually has kind of a two-tone look. The length of this vehicle is at 183 inches with the wheelbase at 106.5. Lowering the reflectors on the bottom bumper, reconfiguring the spoiler on the top, LED tail lights. I also like the black trim that they add on both of the sides of the rear window because it gives a box look, so it takes away from that minivan appeal. Towing in the vehicle is around 1,315 pounds. You have available motion active liftgate. That's on your SL and up. Cargo starts at 36.5 cubic feet. Because this doesn't have the moonroof, we max out at 74.1 cubic feet. Protecting your air condition with a UV reducing solar glass. Independent strut front suspension, multi-link rear. Both the front and the rear have a stabilizer bar. Upgrading to an all-wheel drive will add around $1,400. Standard safety shield 360 technology. 0 to 60 at around 8.2 seconds. Let me know in the comments what you think about this 2021 Nissan Rogue. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test drive. Entering inside to this Rogue, 41.1 inches of headspace, 43.5 inches of leg space. Because we don't have the moonroof, we actually gain nearly 2 inches of headspace. Charcoal cloth seats, 8-way power adjustments, 2-way lumbar support for the driver, 4-way manual for the passenger. Borrowing styling cues from the Ultima and the Sentra. Bi-level dashboard, which looks really nice and settled. It gives a very nice modern look. I like the infotainment screen, the way it's positioned just kind of pops out and it protrudes not too much, so it doesn't cover anything. Air vents are stationed here instead of on top, so I do like the reconfiguring. Gives a very nice modern taste to it. Dual climate control settings. You can get a tri-climate control in the SL and up. 4 speakers is standard. Wi-Fi hotspot on your SL and up, which we have it here. Wireless charger, that would be on your Platinum tier. If you get the S model, something to note, you don't get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The model we have today doesn't have navigation. Multi-function steering wheel with the square bottom, a little bit redesigned as well. You got some nice black polish, and they kind of made it a little bit more wide on the bottom. Pro Pilot on this vehicle. Standard will be your paddle shifters on the Rogue. Storage here, USB port, USB-C port, 12-volt auxiliary, push button start, reconfigured gear knob. You got 2 cup holders inside here. You have more storage space with an area you can kind of put your phone. Driving modes for your sport and eco, and you have more storage in between here, which is also a nice little touch. On the door panels, they got the cloth inserts, dual panel windows, 1 touch up and down for the windows, maybe 2 to 3 bottles you can fit inside. The gauge cluster, you can opt for a digital 12.3 inch cluster and a heads-up display that's at 10.8 inches, but that would be your Platinum tier. This one's going to have your analog dials, and it'll have some information in the center that will just go through details of the vehicle. Let's take this to the rear. Headroom for the rear is at 39.2 inches, legroom at 38.5 inches. You do have some air vents, a USB and a USB-C port, so the technology is pretty good. Soft textures on this side. When you go on the door panel, it's a little bit harder. They don't put as much soft textures. However, you still get the cloth inserts, which is a nice touch. Door panel storage, though, is not for the rear. You can only really fit maybe 2 16.9 ounce water bottles inside. No dual pane windows either. Let's see how the center looks. Sitting into the center, my head still doesn't hit the headliner. I have loads of space. My legs don't hit the back of the front seats, which is really good for a small compact SUV. Here's the 8-inch color display. It is touch derived. Unfortunately, like we said, it does not have navigation. It does have your Bluetooth connectivities, and it does have your audio settings, and you do have your 360-degree reverse camera. Taking the Redesign 2021 Nissan Rogue out for our test run, and starting off with a U-turn. Actually, you're going to get about 2 lanes, giving it some throttle with that CVT transmission. 181 horsepower, 181 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty impressive because you get the same power derived on both sides. This one does kind of have like a Pro Pilot assist, like we were saying over the interior tech. It kind of just keeps you in between the lanes. It doesn't do a full 10 to 15 seconds letting off the steering wheel, however. It is a more refined than the 2020, I will say. The active noise cancellation that is on all of the Rogues now makes it so much quieter, because if you remember when I did the 2020 Rogue, I was kind of complaining about the noise. You still do hear it through the wheel well area. Okay, so we put it in sport mode to see if there is a difference. We're gonna use the paddle shifters. You know, it's actually pretty nice, I have to say. It just drives very smooth, as you're seeing through the camera. The CVT transmission, when you're changing the gears through the paddle shifters, it's not going to feel like a simulated 8-speed automatic transmission. However, it will show you that you have 8 speeds, but it's not its gear ratio. If you change the modes, you can change it on the fly back to eco or standard. With this type of vehicle, I would probably just leave it in standard, but it is a nice touch that you have the sports capabilities. And with eco mode, I will say the car doesn't drive very well. It feels like the car is dead. You have to really mash the pedal. So you want to put it probably in standard. That's going to kick it up a notch, and it doesn't put as much weight on the pedal. And that's what Nissan does. When you put it into an eco mode, it puts more weight on the pedal, meaning you have to really push it firm to hit a higher note. That way, you get basically better on your gas. If you put it in standard, then depending on how you push the pedal, it will kind of memorize the way you drive. If you put it into sport, it's gonna let you go a little bit higher on the RPM. Braking in the vehicle is really good, and this is a small SUV, so you should expect that because it's not a very heavy weighted vehicle. Putting it into your camera, it does have your 360 degrees with trajectory for the front, and it also has the trajectory for the rear. And if you look on the gauge cluster, you'll see the sensor functionality as well. I'd like to thank Rick here in Brandon Nissan for giving us this 2021 Nissan Rogue for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click the subscribe button. Check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.